So you want to start the carnivore diet, but you don't know where to begin? Well, then this video is for you. Hi, I'm Brian, and I've lost over 75 pounds in a little over a year on the carnivore diet. In that time period, there's a lot of things that I just didn't do right. I made all kinds of mistakes on the way, and hopefully this video will help you from making some of those same mistakes. So first of all, when you start carnivore, there's two different approaches. The first approach is just jumping straight in and going complete carnivore right off the bat. This seems like a good approach, but there are consequences. Most people that just jump straight in from the regular standard American diet will have issues in the first couple of weeks. Their body has to get adjusted to a completely different diet where they are eliminating carbs and sugar. You'll have all kinds of sugar cravings in those first couple of weeks. And as your body is getting adjusted, you might have some issues with going to the bathroom, and it can be a very interesting experience. Again, it usually lasts about 2 weeks. So if you jump straight in, expect about 1 to 2 weeks of potentially some issues with going to the bathroom and just getting adjusted to the diet altogether. You also might not feel the best in the world those first couple of weeks, but after that, things will change and you're going to start feeling amazing. Now, the other approach is to ease into it. With doing this, your body gets adjusted a little bit easier. You may still have some bathroom issues, but a lot of people that ease in have very little issues with going to the bathroom. So, what I mean by easing into it is just slowly cut some carbs and sugar out of your diet. Do it over several weeks, like 4 to 6 weeks, and gradually decrease the amount of carbs that you're eating. And don't forget, drinking is a huge thing as well. There is a lot of sweeteners and so forth that are in some of those sparkling waters that say that they're sugar free. You have those additional sweeteners, though, that make a huge difference. So slowly ease off of those too to just drinking water. So, outside of the whole process of jumping straight in or gradually going into it, the next biggest thing to think about for starting carnivore is what not to eat. Stay away from plant based food. Sugar, anything that has a lot of sugar in it, especially things that say no sugar but have artificial sweetener in them. You want to stay away from them. Seed oils, any kind of seed oils. It's your vegetable oils, corn syrup, just the various different oils that they make out there, the seed oils, right? Those really, really are bad for you. And a lot of the issues that people have with needing suntan lotion and sunblock and so forth to keep them from burning has to do with seed oils. So make sure that you're cutting all those things out of your diet. As you're continuing on carnivore, gradually increase your fat intake. Don't just jump to a huge amount of fat right off the bat because you could definitely have issues with going to the bathroom too often from that. In fact, the best way to know how much fat you should have on your diet is based on how often you're going to the bathroom. Is it runny? Is it normal formed? Is it too big and hard to get out and so forth? If it's too big and too hard to get out, you can add a little more fat as you don't have quite enough fat in your diet. If it's too loose and we're talking like runny type diarrhea like, then you're probably having a bit too much fat, so scale back the fat. And some people also have problems with a lot of rendered fat, so keep that in mind. The next best advice is to listen to your body and know when you're hungry and when you're full. Now, at first, you're going to have sugar cravings and just cravings altogether for carbs. And that's going to make you think you're hungry when you're not really hungry. But after those first few weeks, you start to settle in and realize more that you're just not as hungry as often as you used to be or you thought that you were before. Part of that is because the fat content in your diet is keeping you full longer. But the main idea here is eat until you're comfortably stuffed and then don't eat again until you are really hungry. When you know that you're actually really hungry and you need to eat again, then that's when you eat again. Now, I know that some people will tell you that they're eating OMAD, which is 1 meal a day, and others 2MAD, 2 meals a day, and so forth. And a lot of people will say you really should do 1 meal a day. That's all you need to do. Keep in mind, it depends on where you're at in your journey. Often early on, you'll want to eat 2 to 3 times a day to make sure that you're getting the nutrients that you need and so forth, and just to ease into things, right? As you go, the cravings start to go away, and then you might get down to 1 or 2 meals a day. But some cases it's just 1 meal a day. It just really depends. Um, but that's okay once you've gotten to that point and your cravings are gone and you're really just eating when you're hungry and eating until you're completely full. And then at that point, it's okay that you're eating 1 meal a day. And now also keep in mind that as you go on the diet, things might change for you. When I first started, I was eating 2 meals a day. I eventually went down to OMAD doing 1 meal a day, and I did that for a couple of months. But then I found myself kind of going back to 2 meals a day. Now, there are some days I do 1 meal a day and some that I do 2 meals a day. It really just depends because it depends on whether or not I am hungry again later that day after I've ate the first time. And I really follow that. I just go and eat based on when I'm really hungry. Another thing to keep in mind early on are your electrolytes. We're talking magnesium, potassium, sodium, the main three ones right there. Sodium is probably the biggest one. You're probably getting enough magnesium and potassium, especially with the meat that you're eating, especially if it's red meat. But make sure that you're getting enough sodium. If you're having any leg cramps, you probably need more sodium. Make sure, though, that whatever salt you're using is a high quality salt. A very good sea salt is the way to go. In fact, I like Redmond sea salt. It comes from an ancient sea, has been mined out of the United States in Utah, and it's really free of any plastics or other bad things from the modern times. So it's a very high quality sea salt, and I use it pretty aggressively on my steaks and meat and so forth. I make sure that I season to taste basically, and I'm not worried about how much I'm putting on it. And yes, I used to deal with high blood pressure, and I also had AFib, and I haven't had any AFib episodes in over a year, and my blood pressure is lower, even though I am using salt much more than I used to back when I was eating a regular standard American diet and was told that salt was not good for me. But salt is key. A good quality salt is key to your proper hydration and electrolyte levels. Now, some people don't need to go with the electrolytes, especially the magnesium and potassium. Some people do it early on and then they don't use it after the first month or so. So just experiment with it. What you don't want to do is take too much magnesium and potassium. That could be a bad thing for you. So one option that you do have is to have your blood work checked and make sure that your levels are within normal ranges. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope that this video really helped you out. And if you have any questions or comments, please go ahead and leave them down in the comment section of this video. I am very good at getting back to any comments, especially questions and so forth, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.